Hi, I'm Sashi and I graduated as a naturopath mid last year. That was a 4-year bachelor degree in health science through Endeavour College. I knew I wanted to study and I've always had such a passion for health and well-being and helping people, but I've always been very kind of more on the natural side to things, kind of because of my upbringing and just what I've been drawn to myself. I think it's amazing. I think it's really, really cool because what I've learned about mental health is it's not just you take a pill and you feel better, even though I wish it was that simple. Like that would just make it so much easier for everyone. But unfortunately, with mental health as well as a lot of other conditions, you have to put in the hard yards and you have to approach it from a really holistic basis in order to have the best results. So I think for people to kind of be more intrigued and looking into natural alternatives, yeah, it's really cool. I think they both are so warranted in our society and they're both so important, both in their own ways, and there's definitely better times for each of those modalities. But I think as a whole and in more like preventative and kind of treating like long-term chronic kind of conditions, the integration of both is like where I believe you're going to get the best results. Say, for example, an autoimmune kind of disorder, which they've got it and they're probably going to have it for quite a while, maybe forever. And so they're on lots of medications. A lot of the time, Western medications has side effects that are really unpleasant. And then a lot of times I've seen that people are on medications for their side effects for the other medications. And then it's just like a cascade. And then they're on lots of different things and they don't know what's causing what. Whereas if, say, natural medicine came into that part, it could naturally counteract the side effects whilst also supporting that condition as well. And yeah, they just accompany each other really well.
What parts does the naturopath contribute towards?
I would say a lot more of the kind of dietary lifestyle can be a lot of support as well, but also diving into their whole body systems to see if there's any other kind of underlying causes that are contributing to that mental health. Because I think I've told you before, as a naturopath, I view the body so holistically and I understand how the body systems influence each other. So you could have an imbalance in one body system that's totally not related to mental health. It could be like your gut or your immune system or your hormones. And that imbalance has then gone on to cause a cascade that's affected a whole range of things, but say the synthesis of neurotransmitters, which is then have a knock-on effect and having mental health issues. Helping, supporting, reducing the symptoms is one thing, but then also going in and figuring out what the underlying causes are is also going to be really beneficial.
What are some realistic things people can do to improve their well-being from a naturopath's perspective?
My main thing I like to recommend to people that are struggling with mental health is to make sure they're having adequate protein, because protein is the building blocks to neurotransmitters. I think the recommended guidelines is for women 0.75 grams per kilogram of body weight, and for men it's 0.84 grams per kilogram of body weight. I aim higher than that. I normally go 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. Yeah, I find that not only contributes to, like I said, the synthesis of neurotransmitters, but it also balances your blood sugar, repairs your body, it's just a whole range of things. So protein, super important. They've done lots of studies on essential fatty acids, so omega-3s, and that is such an important component in your brain structure. And so that not only is making up your brain, but it is also reducing inflammation, which is one of the things that can drive mental health conditions. So making sure you have fatty fish, particularly like salmon or mackerel, twice a week, I say is really optimal if you eat fish. Otherwise, a plant-based source would be seaweed and algae, hemp seeds, flax seeds. You just have to consume quite a bit more to have the same therapeutic effect. Otherwise, as a whole, just a whole food diet is so important. Having adequate fibre, really important for digestion and detoxification, as well as feeding the microbiome. Like I was saying before, up to 95% of serotonin is produced in the gut. So having a healthy gut is crucial to, having good mental health. So say if it's a dinner dish, probably a piece of like a wild caught salmon, good fillet of that with some kind of roasted veggies or like a salad on the side, maybe some quinoa if you want some whole grains. But yeah, that's about it. Maybe a bit of olive oil on top because that's also got, lots of good fatty acids, lemon juice. Yeah, that's about that.
Sounds like what I had for the last week.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's so important to have a balanced meal at every single meal. So having adequate fats, proteins and carbohydrates, because that is going to balance your blood sugar levels and keep you fuller and more satisfied for longer. With mental health, if you don't have balanced blood sugar, it can really affect your cortisol, which then goes onto your stress and can then increase the symptoms of your mental health. Like the typical person eats 3 meals a day. Like that's one thing you're doing every single day that you could either be creating health or causing disease.
What's the importance of exercise and what benefits do they have, and what can people do to improve their exercise?
Exercise has been proven evidence-based to reduce the symptoms of depression and anxiety as well as stress, and it also promotes sleep. The guidelines recommend 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity exercise, which if you break that up, it's just 30 minutes, 5 days a week. So it's actually pretty attainable. When you exercise, you release endorphins, which are also known as happy hormones. So not only does that just give you a quick buzz, it then goes on to, it's going through your brain, circulating through your body. It also helps with the synthesis of other neurotransmitters. It decreases inflammation, which, like I said, can contribute to mental health, and it also reduces cortisol. And if you're doing more of the moderate kind of activity, so say like yoga, walking, it actually activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is known as the rest and digest phase, which brings you out of that kind of sympathetic response, which is the stress, the fight or flight response. So it, brings you down and makes you more calm. It can energize you as well. And then it also promotes healthy sleep.
Yeah, awesome. And makes you look good.
Yeah, exactly. Look good, feel good.
So what's your advice to someone at the moment who's like never exercised, or they just haven't exercised in the last year? What's your motivating statement to them to get them out?
It's just do what you can. Don't go out and try and do 5 days a week, 30 minutes. Like I said, start with 2 days. Go for a half an hour walk 2 days a week. Keep it like that for 4 weeks and see how you go. And then maybe after 4 weeks, you might bring it up to 3 days a week. And then maybe 4 weeks after that, you might incorporate some strength training, or you might do some swimming. Like, it's not an all in, it's a incorporate it and do it, like invite it into your lifestyle and do what works for you. Because for me, I hate running. You couldn't pay me to run. So I don't run, because why would I? Like, I would never be motivated to go for a run if that's what I was telling myself I had to do. So I find exercise that I enjoy doing, and it's walking out in nature, going for a walk with my friends, it's Pilates, it's yoga, it's swimming at the beach. And these things I don't even necessarily see as exercise now. It's just like a part of my life that I enjoy doing that makes me feel good as well.
What it feels like to go to sleep?
It kind of feels like you tap out of the world, like in a nice way, for a short period of time. And then when you wake up, you just feel more recharged and better, and like you're ready to just keep going through life. The misconceptions I think about sleep is that, especially coming from people who say they can function off like 5 hours sleep. And so they're really like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter, I'm fine, I don't need it. But that's not necessarily doing good for your body. When you sleep, it's basically recharging your body, and you're repairing damaged tissue and damaged organs, and you're synthesizing, new cells and new neurotransmitters. And it's so important for literally every single system of your body, your immune, your hormones, like everything. So having good, adequate sleep is the foundation of health. I'll give some tips of what to do if you struggle to sleep, because
Sleep hygiene,
yes. it's such a catch-22, right? Because insomnia can be quite a prevalent part of depression, but then not sleeping increases the risk of depression by quite a significant amount. So that's really hard, because then, you want to sleep and you can't. So improving your sleep hygiene is some things little steps you can take to ensure that you get good sleep. So I would suggest eating dinner 3 hours prior to going to sleep, because that gives your body time to digest your food. And then when you sleep, your body is focusing on sleeping and repairing rather than digestion. I would recommend limiting your blue light exposure, so the light of your laptop, phone, TV, 1 to 2 hours prior to going to sleep. Having a real darkness in your bedroom, lounge room, wherever you are. So more warm lighting, not like the bright, cold lights. So I remember a lecturer telling me that you want to replicate, like back in the day when we were primates, kind of like a campfire at night. As soon as the sun would go down, we wouldn't have lights to turn on. It would just be a campfire. So you just want kind of like a warm kind of glow. With the way that like the circadian rhythm works and the way that melatonin works, is that when it gets dark, your body releases the melatonin, and that's the chemical that helps you fall asleep and stay asleep. So like replicating that darkness is going to help that as well.
So don't put one of these big lights.
Don't have this. No. Yeah.
What's your opinion on sunlight, and how does that influence well-being?
Well, vitamin D, which obviously comes from sunlight, has been scientifically proven to have an effect on mental health. Having adequate sunlight, and I recommend 15-20 minutes a day, it's going to keep those levels up, and which is going to reduce the symptoms of depression, anxiety, etc., as well as the prevention of it as well.